Welcome to Driven, the Unscripted Success podcast, with your hosts, Mike Manino and Nareman Hamdan, bringing you insights and stories on achieving personal, professional, and financial success.
Hey guys, I'm Nareman Hamdan, and this is Driven Unscripted Success podcast. We've got a special guest on today. We have Dave Behar. He is the founder, CEO, and chief executive athlete of Ion Network and Behar Brands, where he creates and innovates brands in technology, media, sports, health, food and beverage, all that good stuff. He's committed to personal branding and collaboration. He develops digital platforms that foster positive interactions and transactions. He's also a co-author of 2 Amazon bestsellers. How are you doing?
Absolutely 100% pretty good.
Awesome. I appreciate you taking the time to come on
Yeah,
here and chat with us and let us know
my
how you
pleasure.
got to where you are today. But where are you zooming in from?
Pardon?
Where are you zooming in from?
Oh, beautiful Hermosa Beach, California.
Oh, nice. I'm down in
Yeah,
Naples, Florida.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
I love
beautiful over
Naples.
there. What's that?
Naples is great.
It
Beautiful.
is. It's pretty hot right now. It's at
Yep.
about 200 degrees or 200% swamp humidity.
Humidity.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's swampy out there.
Yeah.
So why don't we kick things off with, why don't you give us a quick snapshot of your business, what you do, and what your company does?
We've got a whole portfolio of companies, but Ion, for one, is a network of thousands of local channels, 30,000 in North America. And we have a fair amount of focus on our Ion Sports network, but at the same time, we cover Ion Family, Ion Kids, Ion Health, Nutrition, and so forth. And because every community is made up of those entities, those components that create autonomy in each town. And of course, each town has its own personality. But the network consists is multi-platform. You're watching on all screens, and we do have a production company. We do produce both scripted, non-scripted, all sorts of types of content. But at the same time, our platform in Ion, it consists of an uploader that you're able to upload your show, upload your video, which is a kind of a rarity. And then the fact that we're able to distribute you anywhere in the country in any category and guarantee the viewership. And it could be
Sure.
a handful of viewers in an audience to millions, of course, which we've done multiple times. But it is a content and a creation economy. And
Oh,
we're here to serve as well as drive. And whether it's unscripted or scripted,
there you
I'm
go.
actually kind of, yeah, that's your
Throw
podcast.
that one in.
Well,
That's
you're
awesome.
missing success. It's missing 3 letters from the end of success, which is succession.
There you go.
Sorry about that.
So would you say you're similar to cross between TikTok and YouTube?
Yeah, we're referred to quite often as thousands of YouTubes
Okay.
because there is that capability, and it's now about how we progress. And I'm excited about all that because it's just what we do. But and then TikTok, sure. We have all sorts of forms of, let's call it viralness and what we're capable of. And of course, what any producer, content creator has up their sleeves, but we're there in a great platform to play out. So yeah, there's a few different entities that we're compared to, but we have some great differentiation.
Sure. So that brings me to my next question. Obviously, there's a lot of competition in your space. So what sets you apart and what comes easy to you that others find challenging?
Yeah, so competition wise, I would argue who would that competition be other than it's very noisy in particularly the
Right.
digital environment, but for that matter in many industries, right? So we're in many ways the better solution because we're hyper focused, hyper targeted, which does lead from a business sense to more conversion. And the
Sure.
conversion is why we do what we're doing, and that's to gain some level of viewership and a focused viewership, and that converts into sales. And so we stand behind everything we do, but part of that is being an enablation type platform, and we'll do whatever it takes to have that particular client and or brand partner and simply a content creator succeed. So
Sure.
we definitely have marketing elements and to ensure that to happen. And we're here to promote those shows and those great individuals or companies. And you can say, what does that really mean differently than another competitor? It's a unique value set that categorically cross blends with the local markets and thousands of
Right.
local markets, not just macro markets.
That is pretty cool. So it's like you can basically any small town could be a part of it with
Or
whatever
big
they're
time.
they're
Yeah,
creating
yeah.
or big towns. So it's like you said, it's locally. So it's
Yeah,
really
every major metro is made up of perhaps dozens, if not hundreds, of small towns. Some we
sure.
call it the suburbs, but each of those towns have their own personality and DNA, and that matter demographic, affluency, dot. And then we bring that to surface for sure. And as a solid brand partner in the whole mission, not just for a marketer, but for that matter, a municipality.
Sure. Everyone hits a bump in the road every now and then. Can you share a
Yeah.
time that things didn't pan out and how you got through it?
Yeah. So, you know, we have a great brand, Ion, nice three-letter network brand that has a lot of opportunity. And we've run into a fair amount of intellectual property issues with people, companies simply ripping us off and
Sure.
utilizing the name. So we deal with that on a regular basis. And there's been a couple of times, one in particular, of a company that it was a public company at the time, changed their name to Ion, and we had to sue them immediately in federal court. And today we coexist. It's not so fun because they stole our name and they just had a few more $1 million to spend on
Sure.
defending themselves.
Yeah.
So we deal with that. We deal with the confusion, but we know what we're made of. And our reach is bigger and far more vibrant than theirs is anyway. But at the same time, somebody that's in the space that is just not, and they've gone through a couple of liquidation events, acquisition type of things. So they've been basically the stolen goods have been carried on to another entity. And it's just something we deal with. Sometimes we laugh
Sure.
about it. The other times we run head into because they are involved in sports and are utilizing our name in sports. But yeah, but
Yeah, it's gonna be
that
challenging.
in the case, the federal case, it was a historic case in intellectual property law, reverse confusion, which is when a big company is overshadowing a smaller company. They thought we were not big enough to go after them, and we did.
Sure.
And of course, it went all the way to the first couple of days of the trial, and they cut us a check at the end because it would have really hurt their shareholder value and such. And meanwhile, we have our own things that we need to be dealing with as a company, and
Right. You
all
need to go
those things that
bankrupt
were,
over it.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It's just you gotta pick and choose your battles sometimes and
yeah.
utilize their ripoff from you to your advantage as well.
Yeah, the fact is that people rip off good things, not bad.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think there's I might slaughter the saying, but there's some sort of saying where they say the best artists, so artists create, but the best artists steal another artist's idea or something like that.
yeah,
So it's kind of the
you're right.
copycats. They're always going to be out
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I mean,
So,
yeah.
staying on top of any field is tough. What's something exciting on the horizon in your industry, and how are you getting ready for it?
You mean something like AI?
There
Or
you
yeah, we're I want to say ahead of the curve to a certain extent, but at the same time, this network, and of course, me as like also an individual and leader, have journalistic values, right? And
sure.
then it becomes a question of at what point is AI put to use as what is half of the creation now in the world of at least digital media. And so we are dealing with that as a present subject, as well as some of the, let's kind of call it education involved in not necessarily where we're going, but just the market. I'm very involved at San Diego State University on the board of the Journalism and Media Studies program. And that's we've hosted a conference on AI and had experts there and so forth. And obviously, every
Yeah.
day there's a change. Every day there's a new app, there's a new addition that
Yes.
and tool that used to be just behind the scenes, even mistaken as algorithms and things like that. But now it's just a matter of it's made the noisy world even more noisy.
Hmm.
And just simply for a brand that may have some uniqueness, including ourselves, that's just now what you're not necessarily battling, but have to embrace in its own ways and make sure that you have your human DNA behind whatever you do, including not including artificial intelligence. And so we have a growing eye intelligence program that is dealing with that. And we continue to have those conversations with not just internally or I internally, but also with key experts because we're just working to be the best. And what else is there?
Absolutely. So I'm sure leading a team has its challenges. What's your leadership style, and can you give us an example of how it helped you through a tough spot?
I'm going to break out the whips now.
Yeah, there you go.
Well done.
There you go. Back in line, Chuck.
lead,
Pretty
lead
much.
I say, hey, go read one of the books. It's got leadership all over it, but you know, it is about having integrity for sure, and having eye integrity, pardon me. But this leadership style is more about collaboration. And as long as you're working on helping others succeed, not just in the marketplace, but internally, because always looking to better support, better train our next leadership in our company, let alone all the different entities that in the portfolio we have, which includes a few other networks, has events, leagues, and some really nice initiatives or I initiatives, if you will. And that style, that leadership style, is meant to translate to really empower those to succeed and lead. Because at the end of the day, I've been retired once or even twice. And this is now, it's just a great venture, Ion is. And now training in all the positive ways we can of the next generation of leadership versus the other style of you just have to listen to me. Now, I get to have the last, not the last word per se, because I always ask for the last word, whether
Yeah.
it's after or before I made a decision. But it's important to be following through with your own vision and making sure that your team is not only validating, but is involved in it, is I inclusive in it.
Sure. Yeah, we're part of the team and not just
We have a playbook,
um,
the playbook, and that goes back to even it's why you have this chief executive athlete style, and we're a team, and we do play in multiple leagues, but we do have a playbook, and it's chronological, and as long as everyone's on the same page, and those even vendors, there's timelines involved, not things just haphazardly or randomly, even though we love surprises, positive surprises, that we're now always working to win. And winning is
sure.
good.
Yeah, I agree. I prefer to win than lose.
Yeah,
Sure, everyone does. How do you encourage your team to think outside the box and bring new ideas to the table?
that is what we do. It's regularly encouraged, not just in meetings, but challenging them on every part of our business. Thinking outside the box, you have to follow some level of protocol. We are about organization, but that organization enables to be thinking outside the box. And that's what we do because differentiation, again, is key.
Sure,
And
absolutely.
everyone that is brought on board or finds their way to us knows that.
Wow.
And try not to keep too many guardrails, even though it is a business, right? Not, of course, we support nonprofits and things like that, but this is, yeah. And that's what makes it fun because you have to have fun.
Yeah, for sure. For
Thinking outside the
sure.
box is fun. So
Yeah, I agree. So, what does a day in your life look like, and how do you juggle work and everything else?
I try not to juggle. I have always tried juggling. I'm really horrible. The day will always start off, besides having, again, a plan. of what's going on with the day, kind of action items. I do incorporate the coast in almost every day because living on the coast, it's a very special place, except when you're traveling different places as well. But it's just breathing. I'll definitely go for a walk, definitely some kind of athletic activity to not just stay in shape physically, but mentally. And
Sure.
but simply, I really just having a walk on the strand in the morning, let alone on the beach itself in the sand at the water line. And it just helps keep things in focus as far as we're just human beings and trying to have a good life, trying to make sure that you are just well guided. And I'll even take, especially early in the day, meetings on the strand, including with the team when hitting the office. And sometimes we'll, you
Go
know,
for long walks on the beach together.
not necessarily in a big group, even though,
Yeah,
two or three at a time sometimes. And definitely
sure.
I'll take meetings on those walks, just people coming into town. It's like, let's go for a walk. Because unless you
So,
got to have your laptop in front of you and have to
right.
have some visual presentation, which we can always go back to do, then, and it's good to incorporate as well as grabbing a bite. And so the day is, I want to akin it to fitting into the lifestyle and living what is who we are versus being super corporate. And the result is actually a lot better because I know both. And it's
Yeah,
like, that's the way to
right.
shape it. And I think it's important for everyone to think about it like, how are you best extracting those great elements out of whether it be where you live, where you work, and just not to forget that life is for not
Yeah,
just
for sure. I mean,
living, but leading.
yeah, take
Yeah.
your time, take in the beauty around you. Not everything has to be right there in that.
But there's not metrics
Yeah.
involved because at the end of the day, we do hold ourselves to performance values and shared values in personal relationships and business relationships. But at the same time, here we are living once, maybe twice, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, has there been a book, a podcast, or someone that's really changed your outlook or approach?
Wow. You know how many great minds there are out there.
There are lots and lots of them.
Yeah. I
Any
mean,
that resonate with
there's
you?
there's millions of influence, billions of social media experts. Some have more voice than others, but I don't know about pointing out a specific name or show, if you will, because I think I do a little snacking once in a while, besides just being focused in what we do.
Sure.
So I would say there is a number of influences depending upon the topic. I can tell
Sure.
you that unfortunately, so just being an old dude, it's like there's been plenty of people along the way, but what kind of bugs me a little bit is where things have gotten a little more politically. So it's almost like the opposite of positively and things people that I follow, and where it becomes whatever people are calling what is disrupting, and a
Yeah.
little more politically.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's like you just gotta put them on this shelf and take a break
yes.
from them for a while. You find something new.
Yeah,
And
because
then
in
you can
general, as
always
long
go
as we keep
back.
that, yeah, for sure. Uh,
Yeah.
as long as we have a positive outlook of ourselves and can keep ourselves
Yeah,
focused.
absolutely.
Yeah,
It sounds like things are going really well for you and your company, your businesses. As you're looking towards the future, I'm wondering, how do you create passive income, or have you invested in the past? What do you like to invest in? I always like to know what everyone's into.
yeah. By the way, not an epiphany, but and he's not what you would call an active podcaster, but one of my idols is of all people, Danny Elfman.
I
If you
don't
know
know who he
Danny
is.
Elfman, look him up. We don't need to spend much time with it other than it's just a person that's come to mind, even though there's a small handful that have made a very serious impact over the years, just geniuses. But he'd be one of them. But so what was the last?
Basically, on finances.
Yeah,
I always like to ask what and get an idea of what people invest in. What is your form of passive income or
yeah,
investing?
yeah. The passive income does come from some level of investments outside of our portfolio, but also inside, because that's the way it's set up, and not just, let's call it passive income for myself, but those that are involved,
Sure.
because even our licensing business is part of the passive income, residual income, and for others. But have made investments in media and tech stocks, as well as some level of health. And I love food and beverage, and definitely sports. Sports over the years, which is really where I got my start. A couple of startups, sold the startups. There was some residual income that followed, and at the same time. But between food, beverage, and sports is where the focus is, just in the public markets. I would say the holdings are in the leadership space of those, rather than too small of companies. But I love also incubating and having startups involved, even though having residual or passive income at the early stage doesn't quite happen, but you are betting on the
Sure.
success. So it's not always that horse, but the jockey, and any way that could be supportive of that process and take a stake in the business
Sure.
for the long.
Sure.
And the public market isn't always the best place for those ventures.
Yeah, I agree. I'm one of those.
Exiting is fun, and that's, again, it has been a source of passive income, if you will. But I'm not also a passive sort of guy either. I've
Sure.
Everything's subjective, and I love to tell it like it is.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Well, so as we're wrapping up our interview, what exciting plans or initiatives do you
Wait,
have in the works?
we're wrapping up, and I haven't interviewed you yet.
I'm gonna have to come on your show next. We can conduct that, continue there. Part two, folks.
There you go.
So what do you got going on in the next 6 to 12 months? Anything exciting?
Yeah, just more growth, just now following through with all the things that we have done, let's say over the previous 18, 24 months type of thing. Not just more brand partnerships with the leagues and the events and things that we're involved in, and simply those that are tying into the network. But I get excited about some of the projects that we're involved in. We recently, even though it's right in the middle of our world, and we're supportive of a great music festival. It's already become a top 10 festival in less than 10 years, Beach Life Festival, which happens to be in Redondo Beach. But it'd be an example of where we'll take on a project vertically and not just do the live streaming and have the viewership that is only scaling, but also invite people into what that vibe is and the culture. Because again, it goes back to having fun, and
Yeah.
also having the metrics associated with there being good business decisions. And that would be just an example. Again, you could check out Beach Life Festival, that leagues that we're doing as well. And the National Pizza League would be one, and
Oh, that's fun.
many,
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
multiple. Yeah.
Sign me up for that.
And we're
For
just
both.
what's that?
Sign me up for both events.
There you go.
I mean,
Yeah,
beach
we have
life and pizza. I mean, they go hand in hand.
That's right. But there's multiple leagues that we are, again, the official media partner of and such. And each thing has its own legs that over the next, again, 18 to 24 months, just great plans. And the reason why they were either set up or engaged in is just to just really play out how much fun this business really is, and how scalable it is from,
Yeah, I'm in the entertainment business. I mean,
yeah.
what could go wrong? It's all fun. Come
Well,
on.
I try to think of it as more authentic than just
There you
calling
go.
it the entertainment business, but yeah, I guess you have to have entertainment involved.
Yeah, you have to.
Performance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Drama
Yeah.
and all of it. I've caught clips got sucked into those vertical films. Have you
Okay.
seen
Yeah.
those?
Sure.
They're like the cheesiest,
Yeah.
just storyline, but they just hook you for whatever reason. It's like I get sucked in. I'm like, I have to finish and see what happens. And it's like I
Yeah.
already know what's going to happen, but you still got to see it. But they're uh,
We,
they're like soap operas, but
yeah. So obviously
a little more drama.
one thing is viewing things vertically, which obviously
Mhm.
is really derived from mobile on your smartphone, et cetera. But you can get so distracted, and we don't want to promote distraction, even though so no, as a platform, you want people to keep watching those vertical shows,
Right.
videos, et cetera. But likewise, you have to carve out the time, if you remember, or even know, so this is the time that you can you should watch so it doesn't distract the rest of your morning, and all of a
Absolutely.
sudden it's late.
Right.
And it's just,
It's like a Sunday
yeah,
of couch surfing on a rainy day, and you get
yeah,
sucked in a lifetime. Except on your phone watching those.
yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah,
I was going to also mention, because again, a lot of sports and music and stuff like that, but because of our local network, channel in every town, we do have programming from a real estate standpoint, because in every town is, guess what? Homes and commercial
sure.
property. So even our estates of the union and a few other entities play a role in where we're headed for our Ion Home network. And that basically sits on each of the local channels. So
That's pretty cool.
there's a lot of growth
Yeah.
there, because how key that real estate is in every community.
Oh, absolutely. So I thank you so much, Dave, for coming on. If anyone wanted or someone wants to get a hold of you, pick your brain, be a part of what you're doing, need you to help them with branding, how does one get a hold of you?
Call the Dave Behar hotline.
There you go. 1-900 Dave.
Wait, is there
He
still
likes
900
long
numbers?
walks on the beach.
Wait a second. Is there still 900 numbers?
I don't even know. There is now. 1-900 Ion DB.
I'll let you figure that out.
Yeah. Too funny.
You can, our email address, just you can throw me an email. I always respond.
What's
David
your
Ions.
website?
Yeah, just David Ions, IONS.com. That's
Okay.
one of the easiest places to get a hold of me. Don't even go through any of the socials and stuff. The email would probably be best. And
Okay. Are you on LinkedIn at all?
yeah, you can check me on LinkedIn. Again, I don't maintain
Yeah,
anything really in that space, just because I maintain our space, and we've got a grant. We even have our Connect.ions space is like a LinkedIn. We don't like to promote it that way, but
sure.
say reach me there. But just
There you go.
email is good, and just track me down LinkedIn if you'd like, because LinkedIn's a
Yeah.
great place.
Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you taking the
Yeah, it's been
time.
fun.
And we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
All right, see ya.
Thanks for listening to Driven, the Unscripted Success Podcast. Want to share your story? Apply to be a guest at drivensuccesspodcast.com/guest.